Well, this is what most of you have been wanting for. Every time I've gone ahead to record a video of Viktor Osimhen or any other striker linked to Arsenal apart from Viktor Gyökeres, you people have been like, we need Gyökeres. Even if we do what we call a poll, of which we're going to be doing in the video that is going to sum up our day as a live stream, you people will come out and tell me, Rokani, the fact is we want Gyökeres over Viktor Osimhen. And guess what? Viktor Osimhen to Arsenal transfer now iced. You get? It is now on ice, and it is really one of those deals that you guys need to know about, and how Viktor Gyökeres has gone ahead, obviously coming through, and obviously looks like he's the man in the lead of this summer transfer window. Xavi Simons finally makes a decision to where he's going to be playing at, and Enzo Maresca is going to hit, obviously send a message to Raheem Sterling. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Smash the like button, comment and share. We are powered by Mono Gadgets, and if you are asked who is Mono Gadgets, Mono Gadgets are dealers in phones and laptops, brand new. They also deal in used phones and laptops, from UK. And if at all you feel like you are interested in those services, you can as well contact them on +256 70 99 88 665. Call them, or WhatsApp them. The rest is really gonna be history for you, and you'll thank me later. All else, you might not be willing to obviously buy now, but you feel like you want to be knowing what do Mono Gadgets bring on the table. If you want to view all that, go to your TikTok, search for Mono Gadgets. They're gonna come in through, follow them up, and you'll see the wide range of products that they have. And maybe in future, all now, if at all you feel like you want to get a phone, then you can obviously dial that, and after dialing it, the rest is really gonna be history into the making. So thank you guys for watching through, and I think you're gonna hit to enjoy that. It's really very good to see to it that we're here to see to it that everything really comes on as it comes. Now let's thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Let's thank Allah for the gift of life for doing that, and let's see to it that everything really goes on as to plan. Now we are having a story coming in through from Italy. It's coming in through from what we call Gazzetta dello Sport. 2 million people that follow up this X account, and guess what? They've gonna hit obviously to confirm to us the following about Viktor Osimhen to Arsenal. They told us that everything is on ice for Viktor Osimhen to Arsenal, as Napoli still want close to the player's 130 million euros or 111 million pounds release clause, but neither the London club or PSG are willing to pay it. The Gunners are far more active on the route of Sporting Lisbon's Viktor Gyökeres, and are also tempted by Man City's Julian Alvarez. Now, I was here, the video I streamed live here, late in the night, and I told you that the story that came in from Italy, that Arsenal is really closing in to signing Viktor Gyökeres, was really a falsehood. And you've gonna hit to really get another story from a very credible source coming in from Italy. And they're telling us that Arsenal are neither willing to really pay 111 million pounds for Viktor Osimhen, right? And PSG is also not willing to pay that amount of money. You get? And let's first discuss this. I told you in the story I streamed in the morning today that there is no way Arsenal is going to come in and obviously put in that amount of money. You get? How does Arsenal pay 111 million pounds? Though there are stories coming in through indicating that if Arsenal find themselves in a position of really valuing and finding it right, you get? And finding it right as a deal that's supposed to be done for a striker, they will do it. Even if the striker goes for 100 million pounds, they will spend it, but it will be spent on the striker they believe is right for. But they're not willing to go north of 111 million pounds for Viktor Osimhen. And the problem is Napoli are not in a position of strength because the player wants to go. And as I've already told you, they went ahead to offer him a contract close to £200,000, and they're not willing to keep the player when he's really earning that huge amount of money. So Viktor Osimhen, he's a player that has been linked to Arsenal, Chelsea, and the side of PSG. But all those sides are like, we cannot meet that price. And for PSG, they're offering Goncalo Ramos and some money. And Napoli is like, you have to add us more money. For Chelsea, they're offering Romelu Lukaku and some money. That's what they're really bringing onto the table, right? So, as it stands, it is in the power of this guy, because clubs are there, they're bringing in offers, but the offers are really dubbed not enough or described not enough, and that's why this deal is really being there and everyone is still looking at it. And that's why Arsenal is really also having a look at that deal and really trying to contemplate over it on how to attack it. Should we put Edin Nketiah and front him and obviously put in some money to get in a man known as Viktor Gyökeres? That is another huge aspect that we are set to obviously get into the mix and obviously find ourselves in a position of really putting in a very huge goal into the mix. So, as it stands, it's there for Victor Osimhen, and I don't think that Arsenal can really go ahead and really pay that amount of money that Napoli is really calling in for. That's why it said Victor Osimhen to Arsenal on ice. It has been iced, meaning that it has gone ahead to be cooled down. It's making no further movement. And you know to hit that, when you press ice somewhere, when it's not in the fridge, it melts and it turns into water and it disperses off, and that means anytime that transfer might be off. Chelsea have been in the mix, and they're also moving to Omodorion, from Atletico Madrid. You understand? So that is also one of the teams that is really moving out, and it looks like it's PSG and Arsenal into this battle, and Napoli will have to back to the rules of any of those teams if at all they obviously coming through. You talk about Arsenal in for the man known as Julian Alves. Atletico Madrid has gone ahead to make a bid of 70 million euros to sign a player known as Julian Alvarez from Man City to join the club of Atletico Madrid. So that means this guy known as Alvarez is out, and Arsenal have gone ahead obviously lose out onto that deal, and we all know the reason as to why. Man City swore upon themselves or swore upon the living God to obviously ever sell a player to Arsenal. You understand? And then the remaining player is Viktor Gyökeres, and we are told that Arsenal is leaning towards going to obviously signing Viktor Gyökeres as their centre forward. It has been silent recently, but Arsenal are like, we are keeping ourselves in the know of what is really happening down that side in Portugal. And the player is really talented, very good player, but they're really taking their time. And they are more active on the route of Viktor Gyökeres. Obviously, Arsenal has been linked to Viktor Gyökeres, from way back. I think, was it Feb this year? Arsenal has been linked to this guy, and they've gone ahead obviously come up and obviously put in a very important shift into the mix and into the making. So when you look at Gyökeres to Arsenal, it's a deal that Arsenal are really working hard on to see to it that it comes to an end. And in the due course of it coming to an end, I tell you, we'll be knowing what price Arsenal are willing to offer. Arsenal negotiating that deal down to see to it that £60 million deal done, and Sporting Lisbon is okay with that fee, but they have to first talk to Coventry City and really tell them, please, can you reduce onto your sell-on clause, because this might be the last time you're getting an offer of £60 million. And if at all the sell-on clause is like 20 or 30%, you get... Let me first Google about it. Coventry City sell on clause, right? I want to see for Gyökeres. What is it? Because they really want to see how much it is. Now, it is said that Gyökeres signed for Sporting Lisbon from Coventry City. Sporting signed Gyökeres on a 5-year deal for £20 million. In addition, Coventry negotiated on a 15 sell-on clause contract. Sporting have now paid 1.7 to reduce Coventry's initial demanded 15% to 10% according to record. So that 10% is just £6 million. You get, And if at all they've gone ahead to pay 20 million pounds plus 1.7, that is like 22 million pounds, right? If you really add on 5, right? Sorry, 6 million pounds, that is 28 million pounds for Viktor Gyökeres. Now, if that's the case, you are having 28 million pounds spent on the deal of Viktor Gyökeres. If Arsenal gets you 60, that means you're making a profit of 32 million pounds. If I am Sporting Lisbon, I take this money. Because you never know what's going to be happening next season. You know, Arsenal might go back for Benjamin Šeško. Arsenal can go in for this other Irish guy who plays for Brighton, known as Ferguson, you understand? And you never know which strikers are really going to come and hit the ground running. Maybe Newcastle will be willing to obviously sell Alexandria Isak, you understand? So they might miss out on very many things into the mix. But I tell you this, Osimhen to Arsenal is on ice now, and Arsenal are really in for Viktor Gyökeres. You understand? Then, that deal of Viktor Gyökeres for me is still on, and I've gone ahead to read out a story that there is a hijack coming in through, that other teams are really going to obviously line up themselves to hijack the deal of this guy, but we're here to wait and see how that pans out, and we'll see it in detail in our next story on whether this hijack is really genuine or not. But Arsenal are really so much active onto the route of obviously getting in a player known as, hear me out, known as Gyökeres than Osimhen into the mix. Now, Fabrizio Romano has come out and obviously had the following to say about Xavi Simons. Yesterday he said Xavi Simons RB Leipzig from PSG. Here we go. Medical booked early next week for Xavi Simons. Has also informed Bayern in the recent hours he's returning to RB Leipzig. Despite Premier League clubs led calls as revealed in April, it will be a loan move, no buy clause. Now, Premier League clubs like Manchester United and Arsenal were interested into this guy, and finally he has gone ahead to obviously say, let me stay at RB Leipzig. And I think he has gone ahead to make the best sporting decision for his career, and I think it's really gonna work out well for the boy known as Xavi Simons, because at the look of things, a lot of people have gone ahead to obviously come up and put in their suggestions that he would be a good signing for Manchester United and a good signing for Arsenal, of which it was, because this guy is really talented. He can play as a right forward, left forward, false number 9. He can play as a number 10. Now, if you're really having a person of that caliber, I tell you what, you have to obviously come up and obviously put in a very good required shift into the mix and really obviously welcome him there for you. But you should also look at what this guy is really bringing on the table for his career, you know, because what is going to have to be decided is that Xavi Simons back to RB Leipzig on loan deal from Paris Saint-Germain, no buy option clause included as planned, 1 season on loan and then back to Paris in 2025. Xavi will wear shirt number 10 at RB Leipzig. Now, with him being able to return to the side of PSG next season, he needs to obviously put in a very huge shift and obviously prove to the manager known as Enrique that I'm really a very good player that will obviously get you to the levels that you believe you're supposed to be at. And I think 2025, a big decision will be made. I pronounce this. 2025, a big decision will have to be made. And what's that decision? That decision will be about how much, hear me out, how much money should we sell this lad, or if not, how should we obviously integrate him into the club? Because they want to get in Jadon Sancho, they wanted Kvaratskhelia, and the deal really fell off, and meaning that they want to bring in another left attacking midfielder. And how Xavi Simons really shines at the club of RB Leipzig will give him a very huge go into the mix to become the kind of player that he wants to be in there for you. So let's leave it there, or let's leave it at that for the man known as Xavi Simons, and let's get to Enzo Maresca, who plays or who manages Chelsea, he has come out and obviously said the following to Raheem Sterling. The position for Raheem Sterling is a winger in the way he was in these games. I don't see him in another position for sure. He's one of our important players. Now, Raheem Sterling has been one of those players that has disappointed ever since he came in through and played for the side of Chelsea. And Enzo Maresca, formerly working at Man City coaching staff, once worked with him down there, and he knows his levels of really potential, right? But ever since he came in through at Chelsea for the previous 2 seasons, he hasn't been that man. 2022, 2023 in the Premier League, 28 games played, 6 goals and 3 assists. 2023, 2024, obviously came in through and really put in 8 goals and 4 assists. When you compare him to what he went ahead to put up at Man City, this man was really good because he at least averaged 10 plus goals a season, and sometimes he scored 20, 16 in there for you. And when you add on the goals to score in the Premier League, in the Champions League and other competitions, he was averaging 20 goals a season. That is this guy, Raheem Sterling. And having gone ahead to bought him for like 50 plus 60 million pounds from Chelsea, he hasn't gone ahead to hit the ground running. But you will understand it that they've gone ahead to be really changing managers on several occasions, and that is really one of the things that is really going to be affecting Chelsea, because as the players really getting used to another style of play of a manager, then another manager kicks in, because it all started with Thomas Tuchel. After Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter came in through. After Graham Potter, Frank Lampard came in through. After Frank Lampard came in through, they brought in another manager known as Pochettino. Pochettino was here for a season, and guess what? Now it's Enzo Maresca. And do you know in what duration those changes have gone ahead to be orchestrated? Do you know in what duration? It's between 2022 and 2024. In 2 years, Chelsea has gone ahead to change managers close to 6 times. You get 6 times, and who is to blame for me? It's the board, because you need to obviously keep a manager here. If you don't keep your managers available, I tell you, you are going to really face it rough. That is it. You have to keep your managers available, and you shouldn't really sack them, you know. But for Enzo Maresca, he might really be here because he wants to be a puppet of this regime. You get? He wants to be a puppet of this regime because the committee at Chelsea looks like they want a manager like Enzo Maresca, and that's why they fell out with Pochettino, because Pochettino was going in for some control. But for Raheem Sterling, I think he should use this as a season to redeem himself, because I think he wants to play into the World Cup of 2026, and if he really puts in a shift, I tell you, he's really gonna be given a very good go, and he will love what he'll be putting up in here for you. And when you look at Chelsea and how they've gone ahead, obviously feature into their games in the preseason, you know, they first played against Wrexham. They drew 2-2 with Wrexham. Then lost to Celtic 4-1. They beat Club America by 3-0. They lost to Man City 4-2. And on Wednesday, they are playing Chelsea. Then they have to play Inter Milan on the 11th before they fly back to England to play Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge on Sunday, 18th August. You understand? So that is really going to be a very huge wake-up call for any of the games that these Chelsea guys are really going to be playing, because they need to up their game. I tell you, all what they need is to up their game. And when you look at the game of Man City that they played, as Raheem Sterling went ahead to obviously face his former side, he really went ahead to score in the 59th minute, and he was the first person to pull one back as the game had gone ahead to go ugly, 3-0, and pulled one back into the mix. I think it was 4 when he obviously came in and really put in a shift. You understand? So he started off as he came off the bench, and he came on to play as a right forward into the mix. That is the side of Chelsea for you. So I would love to see Raheem Sterling redeeming himself, because the chance is there. This manager is really very inclusive and very open to really getting these players on. And I think one of the players that the board wants to see thrive at the side of Chelsea is Raheem Sterling, and they will be like, all right, let's wait and see how that pans out. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David is my name. We are powered by Muno Gadgets 256, dealers in brand new phones and laptops. They also deal in used phones from UK and used laptops from UK. Contact Mono Gadgets on +256 70 99 88 665. Or go on TikTok and search for Mono Gadgets. They'll really bring you the service that you want at your doorstep into the mix. Now, tell me your thoughts about Osimhen to Arsenal transfer on ice. Then, Gyökeres transfer to Arsenal. All Arsenal more active on Viktor Gyökeres' transfer as that of the man goes on ice. Xavi Simons going back to RB Leipzig. Has it been a good move in the right direction? Yes or no? Also, come on, my mates, and really school me about what we call Sterling and his decision that has been taken, and his position decision that has been taken by Enzo Maresca, the manager of the manager of a team known as Chelsea, into the mix. We thank God for the gift of life, and we thank Allah for the gift of life, and may Lord God and Allah do the needful and protect us through the night. Rokani David remains my name. Continue to subscribe. See you when you see me. Second video and more recordings are really loading.